Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host Jennifer. Today is day one of Premiere Week, and today's tutorial is going to be this beautiful shirt that I designed. It is called the Spring Fling T-shirt. It is using Hipster Cotton and Cotton Sprout together. Now obviously these colors don't go together, but these colors go together, those colors go together. See the green down here and the green around the sleeves? I did the same thing, blue here and blue around the bottom. Talk about some of these yarns. I have done reviews on these cotton yarns in the past. These came out last year, I want to say spring or summer last year from Premier Yarns, and I fell in love with the colorways. They were exclusively at Michael's. Well, the Hipster Cotton was exclusively at Michael's for a while, and then they released on Premier Yarns website. And when they did, they also had the Cotton Sprout to go along with them. And if I show you up close, they are the same yarn. They are the same yarn base. The difference is one is self-striping multi and one is a solid color. The Cotton Sprout is a solid color. So for the tutorial, I took this beautiful multi-color. This is not the colorway I used, obviously. I took the multicolored and made it the body of the shirt, and then I took the Cotton Sprout and I did the sleeves and a big beautiful colored like band at the bottom. I just love the way it looks. You can move the colored band in the tutorial up around the waist if you want to accentuate your waist more, if you have like a more of an hourglass figure. See how this specific set of skeins kind of pooled around that area? So on me, that's actually my bust. It's not my natural waist, but it caused like a big thick purple band. You could absolutely do that and then just finish the garment out with the multicolored. Totally up to you, and I do talk about that in the tutorial. I give you lots of ideas how to make the pattern your own. You can make the sleeves as long as you want. You can make them as short as you want. Totally up to you. And to give you some information on the Hipster Cotton to start. The Hipster Cotton is 100% cotton. It is very soft. It feels very nice. It is 229 yards. It's a 100-gram ball. This one is the color Summer Splash. And I also have, I think I have all the colors. If not, I have pretty close to all the colors. The one on Brunhilde is Rainbow Roller Skates, I believe. And this was Tropical Dream, I think, is the colorway. I also have Hello Hydrangea. I wanted to make the shirt out of the Hello Hydrangea because it's purples and blues and it's beautiful. And the blue would have went very well with that one, but I only had 2 skeins. And this required, I think it took 4 skeins. I probably should have my notes closer to me. I think I took, I will tell you in the tutorial how many I took, but I think for 4X, which is what I made, it took 4 skeins of the Hipster and it took 1 skein of the Cotton Sprout. Okay, anything else? Oh, these are lightweight number 3s. So keep that in mind when you're doing a garment. You're gonna, I do not usually recommend a hook size when I'm crocheting a project, because usually I don't do like specific numbers. I show you how to fit it to your body and we go from there. But I do tend to tell you I believe I used a 5mm hook for this, or maybe I used a 5mm hook for this and I used a 4.25 for this. It does not make a huge difference because you're fitting it to your body. I don't give exact numbers with patterns because not every person's body is the same. And I take into consideration, like, some people are top heavy, some people are bottom heavy, some people are middle heavy. I'm middle heavy. So I take all of these things into consideration when I'm like, okay, we have to adjust it here, we have to adjust it there. And that doesn't really matter what hook size you're using because you're shaping it for your body. So this does, however, recommend a 5mm hook or 4.4mm needles. So 5mm hook works just beautifully for this pattern. It also has the Okotex Standard 100 on here, and what that means is that this yarn is tested safe against 100 plus. Is it 100 plus? 100 plus harmful ingredients that could cause skin irritations, cancers, etc. And it's just guaranteed that this yarn does not have that in there. So it's safe for your skin, it's safe for baby's skin. The only thing with 100% cotton is when you wash this, you want to be gentle, because 100% cotton can shrink very easily. So you don't want to put this in hot water. You don't want to put this in a hot dryer. And this is from experience. This is not, I'm not even reading the label at this point. I hand washed this in the sink. It did not take very much effort at all. And I hung it over a banister to dry outside. And it kept its shape. It did not shrink. I used lukewarm water. I let it soak in some soapy water. Then I rinsed the soapy water off. It's the best way to just wash it. When you're wearing a t-shirt like this, you're wearing it for the design of it. You're not wearing it to like work out or sweat in it. So unless you like sweat a lot, I don't think it's going to need a heavy laundering. It just needs to launder like once in a while. You could wear, I personally wear crochet garments several times before I wash them because I don't sweat real bad. I don't smell bad. So it doesn't need to be washed unless you spill. That's just my personal opinion. All right, now let's move on to the cotton sprout. Like I said, the cotton sprout it's the same yarn. It's the same base. It feels exactly the same. The twists are exactly the same. I didn't notice a difference in working it up. I don't notice a difference rubbing it. I can't tell where one yarn starts and the other one stops. Because once again, this is 230 yards. What did I say this one was? 229. 230, 100% cotton. They're both a lightweight number 3. They're the same yarn. They're the same yarn. The only difference is the hipster, self-striping, beautiful colorways. The cotton sprout is solid colors. So if you're going to go, if you want to make this shirt out of these yarns, what you want to do is go to the website, pick out what color hipster cotton you want the main body, or you could do a solid. It does not matter to me whatsoever. You want it to be all one color, you can do that. The way I did it is I just went in my stash. I had 3 balls of cotton sprout. I had green, I had blue, and I had peach. And I picked out the hipster that I had the most of, rainbow roller skates, because it was my favorite. But now this one's really pretty. I think this is Tropical Dream. And the green is not the exact green that's in rainbow roller skates. You can see there's a difference. The blue is not the same blue that is in this shirt. It does not matter. Just pick a color that kind of goes with it. And it gives you like this beautiful like offset of, oh, that's pretty. Look at that band of green. Look at that band of blue. It just stands out. So obviously the peach does not go with this one, but I don't have one that the peach goes with. But go pick out your coordinating colors. Does not have to be the same as mine. And 4 balls, I think 4 balls for a 4X, 1 ball of the cotton sprout, because we're just using an accent color. You can use as much or as little of the cotton sprout at the bottom, depending on how tall you are, how long you want this to be. You want it to be a dress, you can. If you want to work in green stripes randomly, like thick bands of this green stripe or blue throughout the garment, you can absolutely do that too. I just added it to the end. I also gave you an alternate pattern down here for the white section, which I did not add on this one because I did this shirt a little bit different. I actually like this one more, but I do show you how to do different varieties on the bottom of the shirt, including adding a slit on either side, which neither of my shirts had. But yeah, I really like these cottons from Premier. That's why I chose them for my very first garment of the week, and a lot of you requested this t-shirt. And the reason I named it Spring Fling T-shirt is because we also have the pattern for my Summer Breeze tank top, which if you want to use this yarn for the Summer Breeze tank top, that would work just as well. But I figure we have a summer garment, now we have a spring garment, so now we have Spring Fling T-shirt, Summer Breeze tank top. Who knows what else is going to come from this? Alright guys, tune in. Keep tuning in, because next I am going to take you to the table and we are going to work up this beautiful t-shirt. And if I don't close off the video, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, to start this tutorial, I am using Hipster Cotton, and this is Cotton Sprout, which apparently I lost the label for because I have done a review with this exact color blue before. The color Hipster Cotton that I personally am going to use for this tutorial today is Tropical Dream. It has some blues in it, and I think this will just be a nice contrasting color for around the bottom, the neckline, the sleeves. I also have a cotton, just a plain white cotton that I got from $1.25 Tree. So this is just regular Premier, just cotton. Now, I am making a size 4X, and for the 4X, I'm going to need 4 of the Hipster Cottons. And the Hipster Cottons are 229 yards, so that times 4, and then a cotton sprout. All of these yarns are going to be linked on Premier's website, and you can mix and match whatever colors you want that you think coordinate. This color blue is not exactly the color blue that is in the Hipster Cotton, but I think it will add a very nice, because when I made the shirt, the color green here is different than the color green that was in this colorway, which I believe this is Rainbow Roller Skates. So the greens are different, but it just looked nice together. So pick out the colors of yarn that you want your shirt to be. If you want your shirt to have these cool, funky colors, then that will be awesome, you know. We got it. Okay, now we're going to put the rest of these in my project bag because we only need one right now because you can't, well, you can, but we're not working with 5 skeins of yarn at one time. We are going to start with a slip knot. Very easy. Then we're going to chain. We're going to start off the first row of this is going to be a chain of 100, and that is going to be for sizes extra large to 4 or 5X. Actually, you could probably go up to a 6X. Any size that you need to make this. We're going to start off with a chain of 100, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to chain 25, and I am going to place a stitch marker. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to break this into, because what we're creating for the neckline is a square, and we're going to have 4 corners of the square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the 4 square corners. I'm going to chain 25. 1, 2, 3. Wow, keep slipping out. This is the 25th chain, so I'm going to put a stitch marker. Actually, let's make another 26. Move on to the 25th chain, put a stitch marker. That way, when we come back around the second row, we don't have to count again. I'm going to put another 25. Put a stitch marker on the 25th one. It's our second 25, so we're at 50 right now. Oops. Pulled one out. $25. Place a stitch marker. That's our 75th stitch. If you have trouble like I do twisting your stitches, your chain row, you can do foundationless single crochet for this row and it will be just fine. And actually I did that with my first shirt, but I'm struggling with that today, so we're just doing a chain because I'm struggling. It's okay to struggle. Everybody does. We're going to chain our last 25. 25. And instead of putting the stitch marker right there, what we're going to do first is try not to twist our chain. We're going to slip stitch this to connect it to the first stitch. And then we can put our stitch marker right here. Now, this first stitch, what we're going to do, we're going to be working in the round, so we're going to chain 2 because we're doing double crochet or half double crochets for this first round. And in that very first stitch where we slip stitched, we're going to put 2 more half double crochets so that we have 3. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the stitch marker in the center of those 3. So here's our first one, second one, and the third one is on the hook. So we're going to put our stitch marker here because in the next several rows, we're going to increase in these stitches in the center. So that's why we're putting the stitch markers there, so you guys can very clearly and easily see what we're doing. Now we're just going to put half double crochets all the way across this until we reach the stitch marker. And then when we reach the stitch marker, we're going to increase again. And that's going to create our corner for the squares. The neckline is going to be square. Pull my camera up a little bit because I'm having a hard time. It's like right on top of my hands. There we go. There we go. Now we got a little more room to work with. Now we're approaching the stitch marker. So when we get to that stitch marker, we are going to put 3 half double crochets in the stitch that the stitch marker is in. Now you could absolutely count and keep track that way, but the stitch marker just makes my life a little bit easier. So that's why we put it in there, and that's how we keep track of where our stitches and our increases are supposed to be. But if you're really good at stitch identification and seeing where your stitches are and what they are supposed to look like. See, now we're at the stitch marker. We're going to put 3 half double crochets. If you're good at stitch identification and seeing where your stitches are and not having to count, you're not going to need the stitch marker after this first setup row. But I'm moving it along for those of us who have a hard time identifying where our stitches are. So here's the 3 stitches that are in this same stitch. We're going to put the stitch marker. There's the first one, the second one, there's the third one. We're going to put it right here because that's where we're going to increase. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys finish this round by yourself. We're just going to do half double crochets, 3 half double crochets where the stitch marker is here and where the stitch marker is here. And when we get to the end of the row, we're going to slip stitch to join this last row. But I'll be right back at that moment and I'll show you what to do. Okay, so we're approaching the end of the row. We put our last couple of half double crochet stitches in. And then to avoid, actually no, not to avoid, nothing, never mind. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch here to join the row. I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to double crochet in that same stitch we just chained into. Okay, the chain 1 is just to build up the stitch. It's not actually going to count as a stitch here, so this is just going to look like a thicker double crochet. And where the stitch marker is, we're going to put 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3, and this is going to be our corner. And then we're going to do double crochets all the way across the row. We're going to do exactly like we did the last row, except now it's double crochets and not half double crochets. The reason I like to do is half double crochets for that first row is it stops the neckline from stretching out so much. And yes, later on we are going to put a row of single crochets around that as well. It just stops the neckline from stretching out because this is cotton, and cotton will stretch out just a little bit. I apologize for the dog stomping around in the background. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that I have dogs and they are always following me from room to room. Even if I try to lock them out, they end up pushing the door open so they could be my mommy's feet. There's also a wind chime in the background I'm sure that you will hear. It is outside, I promise you, but it is loud. I really like the colors of this colorway. And my other favorite colorway of this yarn is, I think it's Hello Hydrangea. It's blues and purples and aquas, and it is stunning. I have some more. I was actually going to make the shirt out of those colors, but I only had 2 skeins. I didn't have 4. All right, so we're approaching the corner. By the way, this row we're doing right now is going to be a repeat row. We're going to repeat this for 14 rows, including this row. So 13 more times after this. We got to the stitch marker. We're going to put 3 double crochets. 2, 3. And then we're going to continue on, double crocheting across the row, because we are making a square neckline for right now. So see, this is what it should look like so far. See how it's creating a square? And we're going to increase at the 4 corners for 14 rows of double crochet. And then after that, we are going to do some other stuff, but we're going to focus on this right now. I'm going to finish up this row, and then we're going to pause the video, and I'm going to let you do the next 13 rows by yourself. You got this, no big deal. This is really, really simple. This pattern's easy. And then once you get the hang of this t-shirt, this very simple t-shirt, you can absolutely change the body of the shirt and like change up the stitches and try other stuff. You do random rows of like lace work or add some shells in there, baubles. I mean, you could totally make this t-shirt entirely your own design, just based off of the directions of how I'm showing you how to make the shape of it. Alright, so we're at the point where the stitch marker is, so that means we're going to put 3 double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. I'm going to move the stitch marker up. So the first one, the second one, and the third one is over here. Third one goes that way. Continue around this side. Double crochets. Double crochets. Double crochets, double crochets, double crochets. We're approaching the third corner. Ooh. I missed my loop. All right. Stitch marker means we gotta do 3 double crochets in that stitch. Move up our stitch marker. Now, full disclosure, I'm probably not going to use the stitch marker, but I am showing you how to use the stitch marker to implement it to help you to keep track of your corners. But since this is my design, I really don't need the stitch markers, but I'm showing you guys, so it's, you know, makes your life easier. Nobody wants to have to keep like super tight track and counting. That way, when you have a stitch marker in there, you can just like watch TV while you're doing this, or, you know, maybe have a conversation. This is changing color frequently. I wasn't expecting to change this color so often, because the last shirt I did, I was at a spot in the skein where it was mostly solid for the collar. And it didn't change color this frequently. This is actually really pretty. You're approaching the end of the row. And just like we did in the previous row, we're going to slip stitch. But keep in mind, this right here is the chain 1 turn. So we need to slip stitch up here at the top of the double crochet. Okay. And then we're going to chain 1 and put a double crochet in there. And see, I didn't move up the stitch marker, but we know that this is the first stitch of the increase, this is the second, and this is the third. So this is the stitch we're going to increase in. So double crochet, then the increase stitch is here. So we need 3 double crochets here. And then we're going to do this exactly like we did the last row. Just double crochet till you hit the corner. 3 double crochets in that stitch. Keep repeating that until you have 14 rows of double crochet, including the one I just showed you. And I will meet you back. All right, so I am at my 14th row. Let's pull this up a little more so you can see. This is what that's the back side. This is what it looks like. I have not finished off the 14th row yet, but I wanted to come on and show you that we are making a square-ish shape, but if it curls over on itself and it does not lay flat, that is perfectly normal because it's meant to fold over. This is the neckline of your garment. So what we are going to do from this point forward is we are now going to finish our 14th row, and then we are going to cut the yarn, and I will show you why. So I'm just finishing off the last couple of double crochets for this row. Just like we have every other row. And this is also the part where we are going to have a little bit of, this will differentiate between sizes. Let me grab my scissors. The way we continue this, you're going to have to measure the next part based on your body. So I'm going to cut, bind it off. Now, yes, this is inside out. It's inside out. You can start front panel, back panel. It does not matter which panel you decide to do first. I'm already on the back panel, so I'm going to work on the back panel. So we cut this yarn. We are completely free of the yarn. However, we are going to reattach at our point. It doesn't matter which point we attach it at. You can move your stitch markers to those points if they're not there already. I had to move mine up because I totally miscounted, but that's all right. That's all right. We're all good. Okay, so now this is going to be the back of our shirt. This is where we joined in the round. This is our corner seam. So it just makes sense that that would be on the back of our shirt. So it's not like the pattern of the yarn makes it more obvious that there is a join there. So that's going to be the back of my garment. That's how I know which is the front and which is the back. So I'm starting on the back. And I am going to attach my yarn. And we are going to work the back panel for several rows. For me, probably 10 rows. But the amount of rows you do on this part will greatly depend on where this reaches your body and how your body is shaped. If you have a bigger top, or you have bigger arms, because these are our armholes right here. Now for smaller sizes, this absolutely would be like a size small right now. You could attach it here if you're doing a size small or medium, and then just start working in the round. You can actually just go in the round this way now. And then you would have nice sleeves. This would be perfect for size small or medium, but extra large and up. This is the way that we are going to do it. We are going to have to add on here. And on the front, the very first stitch of this row and the very last stitch of the row, we are going to do increases. And to do increases, that means we got to add extra stitches. So I'm going to attach the yarn where my stitch marker is. I'm going to chain one. Okay. And then let me bring it in so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to put a double crochet in that same stitch, and then I'm going to put another double crochet. So the beginning of every row will be 2 double crochet, and then we're going to double crochet all the way across to the next corner, and we're going to put 2 double crochet where that next stitch marker is. And we're going to do this. I'm going to do this for 10 rows. I suggest if you are like an extra large 2X, check it after 5 rows and see where it lies on your body. What we want this to be is wide enough, expanding out wide enough here so that these peaks on this end will touch under your armpit. And so that the armhole is not massively big. That's why we're going to check it at 10. And if it still doesn't touch, which is perfectly okay, we are going to chain a couple so that we fill in the gap between the armpits. But we're not there yet, so don't worry about that part yet. Right now, I'm going for 10 rows. And keep in mind, I'm making a 4X. So how many rows you make of increases right here is going to vary on your body. And if you want, because I'm just going to make a front panel and then I'm going to make a back panel the exact same way. But what you can do is, and this is what I did with my first shirt, this helped me to measure it, is I did like 5 rows on the front panel, and then I took my other ball and attached it to the back panel, and I did 5 rows, and then I pinched the corners to see if it fit, and then I would add on a couple more rows on the front and the back, and I would test it again. So that's the easiest way. I'm trying to go over the top of my tied off knot right there so that I don't have to weave it in so much later. Just keep on double crocheting until we get to that other corner. We're almost there. Well, we're about halfway there. Got a little secret for you guys. I totally messed up, and I missed a corner for like 3 rows. And I had to go in and add more stitches. Like, I fudged it. I totally fudged it. I was not about to frog 3 rows. I totally fudged that corner and just added in a couple more stitches where I messed up so that all 4 sides are pretty much the same amount of stitches. I mean, it's okay if you miss 1 or 2 here and there, because you can always fudge it and add them in later, which is what I totally did. I always try to encourage everyone. Mistakes are okay. Mistakes are okay. Nobody is going to look at your shirt and say, oh my goodness, you missed a stitch there. And if they do, get rid of them, because you don't need that type of negativity in your life at all. I hope you're enjoying this t-shirt. I love the colors. I love the striping effect of it. And like I said, at this point, you can absolutely do, if you want to do half doubles instead of doubles, or if you want to do like the linen stitch or the seed stitch here. Let's see, we got to the stitch marker, so we're going to put 2 double crochets there. Chain 1 and turn our work, because now we're just working this panel back and forth. And I'm going to put 2 double crochets in that first stitch. Double crochet all the way across to that last stitch and increase on that last stitch too. So that last stitch is going to get 2 double crochets. And when I get to the end of this row, I will show you what this back panel will look like, so that you have an idea. Because I always hate when I'm doing like a tutorial or something, I'm like, hey, well, what is it supposed to look like? Am I doing it right? So yes, just keep on double crocheting. I love this blue color. It's so pretty. I'm telling you, I might have to make another one of these. I might have to order some of that Hello Hydrangea of the colorway, because it is so beautiful. I only need 2 more. I only need 2 more and I can make a shirt. And then maybe add some purple of the cotton sprout. The cotton sprout and the hipster, I'm telling you, go so well together. They are practically the same yarn. Just one is stripy and one is solid. Absolutely stunning. Oopsie. Do you ever get crocheting too fast and you just like completely mess up? I do that a lot. It's like, oops. I'm notorious for going too fast and slipping out of the stitches. Or pulling through too many stitches. I really like this blue purple use section. It's my favorite. I know I already said that. All right, we're almost to the end. We're almost there. I'm almost there. Almost there. I see only 2 more stitches, then I can increase. All right, so we're in the last stitch here. I'm gonna do 2 double crochets. And we chain 1 and we can turn our work. So now we have, pull you up again so you can see. See, now we're forming, this is the back of my shirt, or it could be the front of your shirt, doesn't matter. This is what we're going to continue to do. This panel is going to continue to increase out. You want to measure, and what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do 5 rows again. I think I'm going to do 5 here, and then I'm going to attach the ball, and I'm going to attach the, because that's why we have 4 balls. That's not the right ball. And then I'm going to attach the separate ball, and I'm going to do 5 on here, and then I'm going to measure it. And then I'm definitely aiming for 10 though, because that is what I did on my other 4X shirt. But definitely try after 5. And in order to do that, what you want to do to check after your 5 rows, depending on what size you are, I'm going to say 5 rows if you're extra large, double extra large, is when you get those 5 rows, you're going to take these safety pins and you're going to pin your 2 corners together here, and you're going to pin your 2 corners together here, and you're going to try it on and make sure that your armholes are big enough, and make sure you got enough room around here. Now, if it fits, your armholes are good, and you like the way your armholes are, but it's still kind of tight here, what you can do is still attach in the round, and we're going to add stitches in between here and here. And when I get to the 10 rows, I'll show you how to do that. But yeah, you guys got this. I will meet you back after 10 rows on the back panel and 10 rows on the front panel. And that's going to be tomorrow for me because it's nighttime already. I've been doing this tutorial all day. So I will see you in my tomorrow and in your 2 seconds from now. All right, so we're back and I'm doing a quick measurement real quick of my body. You're going to need a tape measure for this part, or if you don't have a tape measure, you are going to need a piece of yarn would work, okay? You're going to measure around the widest part of your body. And I don't need to know that number, just like you don't need to know mine. So what I did right now is I measure around my bust. That is the part that I'm measuring right now. And then I'm going to take that number and untwist my tape measure. I got it twisted. All right. So, got my number. We're going to take, and this is at 10 rows. 10 rows. I totally messed up this pattern, so I'm going to show you my mistake because I always leave my mistakes in my videos because I want you guys to know that if you make a mistake, it is not the end of the world. It's not. You guys can see my back panel is way shorter than my front panel, but we're going to leave it because I'm not going to frog this. I hate frogging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the shirt. I actually probably need to write down my numbers. Grab an ink pen. So I have my inches. I wrote that down. And then I'm going to measure this part of the shirt. So that part is 24. The back part is, I'm going to say 18. So 24 plus 18, that will be how far around my body that this is going to reach. But that's not enough. So what I need to do is, this is simple math, okay? Let me show you on some paper. My camera keeps going out of focus. 23 times 2 is 46. So 46. So 46. And let's say your bust size or your waist size, whatever it is, because we're going plus sizes, obviously. We're not ashamed of our numbers here. let's say that your bust is 54. Okay, so you're going to take your 54, you're going to subtract the 46, whatever that number is, you are going to divide it by 2. So we would add on either side of the armpit area, whatever that number is. So obviously 54 and 46 are just, that's not my actual numbers. My numbers are actually a little bit higher than this, but all right, it's 58. Let's just be real. I'm not ashamed. My bust is 58 inches, okay? You guys know I'm big. I'm big. It's cool. So our number is 12. So I need to add 6 inches on either side of this if this was the correct number, but we saw that I messed up the back, so obviously the numbers are different. So 12 inches, I would add 6 inches on either side. So what you're going to do is you are going to, and we did not detach when we finished our front panel. We're going to chain 6 inches. Okay, on both sides we're going to add 6 inches, and that equals 12. So 1, I'm not going to count. I don't need to count. Yeah, I do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll measure, see how many inches we got. It looks like it's about 4. Yep. I forgot. I think I said 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Try it again. That's our 6 inches. So I got 18 stitches. I'll write 18 down. I'm adding 18 stitches on this side, and I'm going to connect to the back panel with a slip stitch. Okay, then I'm going to do double crochets around, and when I get to this other side, I'm going to add 18 stitches again so that it is equal, because that's what we used on the other side. So that is how we are going to create the bottom part of this. We're going to figure out our measurements. We're going to be honest with ourselves. We're going to write our measurements down. We're going to do the math. We're going to add on whatever we need under our armpits. And if this hole is way too big for you and like your whole side boob is hanging out, it is okay, because we are going to close that in and make a sleeve there. So don't worry about this hole, this gape. What you want is for this to fit around your chest. Whatever that is. Flat-chested, big-chested, lopsided-chested, does not matter. Okay? We just want it to fit our body. So that's where we're at right now. And I'll be right back. All right. I actually have to add 2 more inches to this because I need 8 inches added on either side. Not just 6. Oops. What did I say? I wrote down. How many stitches did I do? 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So 26 is 8 inches 20 for me. 26 stitches. Let me write that down. 26. So that I know when I get to the other side, I'm going to add 26 stitches. And that's just, and from henceforth, and actually I'm going to do a half double crochet row here. You can do double, it's fine. I'm going to do a half double crochet row because I like a little bit of extra strength going around. And so now when we come back around, we are going to be working in the round. So when we come back around this way, we're going to go up and on top of these stitches. We're not going to connect here. We're going to go up on top so that we're working in the continuous round. There's not going to be a line of joining there. And if by chance your belly is like way bigger than your boobs, you can measure your boobs and add the correct stitches here, and then you can go along the edges of your along under the armpit. You can add stitches in every row here and get it to actually more of a A-line shape t-shirt if you're comfortable with that, or if you have like a big tummy. You can shape this garment any way that you need to. Or if you have really big boobs and you have like a really small waist, you can do decreases along the edge and it will help bring in the garment. And actually it doesn't even have to be along the edge. Like you can just scatter them in every row. Do like a decrease in every row. And it will bring your garment in more on your natural waist. There's lots of ways to alter a shirt pattern to fit your body the way that you need it to. And I absolutely encourage you guys to do your own thing with this. I like giving patterns and doing like a basic idea of how to make the pattern, but then I like to tell you guys like, hey, make this your own. You can do whatever you want. This is your shirt. Make it how you want it to be on your body. Add stitches, decrease stitches. Shaping is pretty easy. I know it sounds scary because when we think of patterns, we think like it's got to be like by the rules and we have to exactly follow the pattern or it's going to be messed up. And that is what I think messes a lot of people up when they're designing or when they're trying to design something of their own, is they think that they have to follow the rules to a T. And that might be true with other arts. But with crochet, we are very much, every stitch that we put in is creating a shape. And I'm lucky enough to understand geometry very easily and the way shapes, the math of shapes. I don't always have an easy time explaining it because it's hard to like put that into words, honestly. So, I very easily will play with shapes and just play with stitches and see how that they create themselves. And I learn from that process. That's how I'm able to create, is I play with the stitches and I'm not afraid. Like if I mess this up, you guys saw, I made a huge mistake in the back panel. Like it is several inches different than the front panel, but I'm not frogging it. I'm going with it because that's my back panel, number one. And I know that I need more material on the front of my body because that is where most of my weight is carried, the front of my body. And so I don't mind, like I don't mind racer back type shirts or bras or any of that. So for me, it's not a huge deal that I did that. But if that bothers you, you could actually go back and fix it. But for me, I'm like, I don't care. It's not a big deal to me that I messed up. That is how I learned how to shape garments. And I think for me personally, I am going to do a little bit of an A-line on this. I am going to add some stitches so that it blouses out away from my body a little bit, because the first t-shirt I made that I showed you guys is more, it's more straight. It's more form-fitting on my body. And so for this one, I think I'm going to alter this slightly so that it just blouses out a little bit. But if you want it to be straight, when you get to this point and you get it to the size that you need it to be, you can absolutely just crochet in the round straight down. That's what I did with my last t-shirt. But this one, I think I'm going to flare out just a little bit. I'm going to do a couple rows where I just add some stitches in. So we are approaching the end of my front panel. I'm going to still put 2 stitches in this end one. And then I am going to add, what is my number? 8. No, that was not 8. 26. 26. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That should be my 8 inches. Double check. 8 inches. We're good to go. Now we can attach that to the back panel. Now at this point, when you do your little slip stitch here and you attach this, you can come in, put a stitch marker there, and try this on. Try this on. At this point, before we have to go any further, make sure that with the sleeves that we've added, the bottom part, make sure that this fits over your body. I'll pull you back up again. Make sure this fits over your body. Make sure that you have room to move your arms up and down. Like, make sure that this has enough room for you here. Don't worry if this hole is too big around your arms, because like I said, we're going to build up a sleeve in here and close that hole off a little bit, but make sure that this fits around the biggest part of your chest comfortably. If it doesn't quite reach your chest, that's okay. Because we all have different lengths and different, like, not all of our boobs are up around our neck. Like, some of them are really low, and that is okay. Just make sure that this kind of will fit around the biggest part of your body. Other than that, we are just going to work, we're going to continue working half double crochets in this row for now. So just make sure you absolutely try it on so that you don't get too far in the pattern and go, oh no, this doesn't fit me, and then you got to frog back a bunch of rows. Just make sure that that strand fits around your body comfortably. Because like I said, if it's too big, you can take out some of that, and if it's too small, you can always add in stitches. I don't want you guys to get done with the shirt and go, oh no, this doesn't fit me. Because my last t-shirt, like I said, is form-fitting, and I actually prefer that it be a little bit bigger than what it is. So I'm going to probably flare mine out a little bit. I also did not do the measurement on my body when I was making that shirt, and this one I actually measured, but I'm going to flare the bottom of my t-shirt out a little bit because I have a big tummy. And I want it to be roomy. I don't want it like, I don't want it, because sometimes when your shirt is like snug, it rides up while you're walking around. I hate that. I hate having to constantly pull my shirt down. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm just doing double crochets across. It is 10 o'clock. I guarantee in the next about 5 minutes, Oreo is going to come in here and tap me. She has an internal clock. She knows when it's 10 o'clock, and it might very well be the specific bird that is going to come up in the, because I have a Christmas clock and a bird clock. I think that bird clock alerts her that, hey, it's time for breakfast. And so when she hears that clock goes off, within 5 minutes, she is awake, and she taps me. She stands on her back legs and just hits me with her front paws so that I get up and feed her right this second. So if I have to pause this in a minute, we will know that Oreo came in here and was tapping me. Because it is early in the morning, and I usually feed them at 10 a.m. And they know 10 a.m., let's go. And there's my 10 o'clock bird. In case you are new here and you don't know about my clocks, I have a Christmas clock and I have a bird clock that I just got for Christmas because I love birds. I have bird feeders. A little tufted titmouse, right this second, just landed on my bird feeder, which I can see from my window where I'm sitting. When I was a little girl, my mom, my grandfather, who lived down the street, he was an electrician by trade, but he was retired when I was really young. I don't remember him ever working. And when he retired, he started making clocks. And my mom had clocks all over the wall, and they all made a different noise, and she would set them the way you just heard my clocks go off. She would set them so that they would go off, and then the next one would go off, and the next one would go off. And she had like 15 clocks on her wall, so that's like 15 minutes every hour of clocks going off. It wasn't quite 15 minutes because it was they were set like 30 seconds apart or something like that. So it was a few minutes where the clocks would go off. And people hated it when they spent the night at our house because it would bother them, but I didn't even hear them. All right, so when I got back to here, I'm going to start with double crochets. Now that I've gotten the front panel and the back panel in half double crochets, I'm going to do double crochets here. And I will show you. We're going to put a double crochet in every stitch across. And then when we get to the very first stitch over here, I am not going to slip stitch to join. I am going to double crochet on the top of that stitch. And that is going to get us started working in the round. And I'm going to do the same thing with that other panel. Exactly like this. And by the way, I am on my third ball of yarn. I'm about this far in my third ball of yarn. So when I join in the round here, I personally am going to crochet in the round until I run out of this colorway. So all 4 of these balls, I'm just going to crochet in the round until I run out of yarn. And at that time, I am going to switch to the cotton sprout, and I'm going to start working on the sleeves with the cotton sprout. And then after that, we will come back to the bottom and add some color banding on the bottom with the cotton sprout. So now you guys know what we're doing. I'm just going to do all the way around this row with you, and then I will of course leave you to your own devices because this is not super difficult. All right, so here's my last stitch in the chain that it goes under the armpit. This is the half double crochets that I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just on top of the half double crochets and do a double crochet. And I'm going to do the same thing when I come around this side with this panel. And that will start us just working in the round. And actually, because I want this to blouse out a little bit, this is where I'm going to add my extra stitches. It's just here under the armpit at some point. Don't put the increase, if you're going to do increases to make this A-line, do not stack the increases on top of each other this way because it will start to form a peak. And unless you want it to have a peak there, I don't suggest that. So I'm going to just randomize. Did I twist that? I sure as heck did. Did I? No. Whew, scared myself. I looked like it was twisted. So I'm leaving this in. I'm leaving it in. I'm human. Okay, so what I'm going to do. I forgot what I was saying. Oh. So if I'm going to add increases along this part of the garment, like this row I'm going to put an increase here, but the next row I might put it down here, and then I'll put an increase here. So as long as I'm staying within this panel and randomizing and putting one every single row on both sides, I'm doing both sides of the shirt, it will blouse out a little bit. And I'm going to do that until I feel like it is wide enough that I like it. So you do not want to put your increases on top of each other because that creates a peak. We don't want no peaks. I mean, you could absolutely make a peak. If you wanted to crochet this in the same way that you did the neckline, where you had 4 increases, the garment will grow out, 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 and then you'll have like a, I think it's called like a shark shark bite points where there's peaks on the front panel and the back panel. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You could absolutely do that too. That might be an idea for a future video. Just divide the stitches by 4, and at those 4 points put increases. It will not only blouse out, but it will also give you like shark points. And there's another term for that. Shark fin points, maybe? I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. This is the part where just crocheting and crocheting in the round. It is a very gloomy day out. I cannot wait for spring to fully arrive. Like, I know that where I live, I have spring much earlier than where I grew up and lived most of my life in Michigan. So I'm lucky because Michigan winters were always so long and so hard on me. But we've had a lot of dark days the past couple of months, and it's just wearing on me. But the robins are here. We have robins. That's the first sign of spring. My narcissus are starting to sprout. They're about 1 inch tall. They're late bloomers, though. I have tulips and yellow daffodils in the backyard. I haven't went out there to see if they're blooming yet or if they're sprouting. But the narcissus in the front, they look like little tiny white daffodils. They don't bloom usually until May. So they're very late bloomers. They bloom around the same time as my pink dogwood. But I also have seen signs that my hyacinths are starting to sprout. And my hyacinths are always the very first spring flower that I get. I have purple and pink and white. They're one of my favorite flowers. I just love the way they smell. They take me back to my childhood. And they remind me, they don't smell exactly like lilacs, but they are similar enough to lilacs that it makes me think of the lilac bush my mom had in our yard growing up. It was huge, and nobody could figure out how she got it to bloom. That thing bloomed and bloomed and bloomed every single year. And I've tried growing a lilac bush here, and it died. I could not get it to live. No matter what I did, how I babied it, it just died. And the hyacinths give me that memory, that childhood memory. I just love them. I honestly could like fill my entire yard with hyacinths and be perfectly happy. I also like tulips because that's another thing. It's like, you know, spring is here when your tulips are sprouting. All right, now we got back to our other sleeve. Make sure that I have everything in the correct direction. And again, we're just going to put double crochets across. I'm putting my increase on this side. I'm going to just double crochet across. Now, if you have a short torso or you're short framed, if you don't want to use, if you get to like a certain length, and always measure it before you go too far. If you get to a certain length, and if you want to make this into a crop top, I mean, feel free to make it a crop top. I have no problems with big girls wearing crop tops. I am all for it. I am a bikini wearer myself. And I'm not talking about a fat bikini like that covers everything. I wear a full bikini. I got no shame in my game. And you should not either. So if you want to make this a crop top, go ahead. For me personally, I have a really long torso. And I want this to be like a full t-shirt. But I have no problem. I have no problem crop tops. I am going to just crochet in the round at this point. Adding some stitches under the armpit panel. Just try to get a little bit of a flare out. I'm just going to continue until I run out of yarn. But if you want this shirt to be shorter on your body, crop top, or if you're short you're short torsoed, Measure it to the length that you think that you want your shirt, but keep in mind that we are adding the cotton sprout to the bottom, so it is going to be longer than this colorway. For my green one, I added, let's see, like 4 inches of the green on the bottom. And then this bottom panel is another 2 inches. So when I got done with the hipster, there's still 6 extra inches of the shirt that I used for the cotton sprout. So if it feels short and I'm stopping you here and we're working on the armpits, there's going to be more length on the bottom. So just keep in mind, there's going to be 4 to 6 extra inches on the bottom of this shirt when we get done with this colorway. No worries. I try to answer as many questions as I think that you guys will come up with, because I always get like random questions. All right. Yeah, that's not a stitch. Okay, so I got to the end. This is my stitch marker that I put in that I don't need anymore. Now we're going to do just like we did in the last one. We're going to go in the top of the half double crochets and we're going to double crochet. And now you just work this in the round, double crochets all the way around. Just keep going until you run out of yarn. That's what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep on going until I run out of yarn. Here is what it should look like at this point. This is the part that goes under your arm. There is going to be like a slight little dip at the points where we skipped up and went over the top of the half doubles, but like by row 2 this dip is going to be gone. You're not even going to see it. So this is what we have so far. Pull you up so we can see. This is what we have so far. We're just going to work in the round until we are out of this colorway. Just round and round and round she goes. And then how many skeins left do I have? I have 2 more and that half of one to go. And I'm just gonna keep going in the round. All right, guys. Yeah, I will see you at the end of this part of the shirt, the belly part. All right, guys, we did it. We did it. It is day 3 for me of this pattern tutorial. I don't think I'm going to be able to get my camera out far enough that I can show you the entirety of the shirt, because like I said, it's a 4X. It is a very large garment. So this is what the body looks like. I know you guys can't really see the whole thing. I did some increases along the edges to give it just, instead of straight, it just goes out. I mean, it goes out maybe an inch on the sides, maybe 1.5 inches. I just crocheted until I ran out of this colorway. And as you see here, I just tied that off because I'm going to tie in the blue yarn. I'm going to tie in the cotton sprout next. But before we tie in the cotton sprout for the bottom, we need to work on the sleeves. So that is where we are at right now. So right now I have a huge opening for my sleeve. I have a huge opening. What I am going to do is I'm going to take my stitch markers and I'm going to section off. And this is not an exact number because you guys are all doing a different size than I am. You're also going to probably need a paper and a pencil right now. Just like we did writing down our numbers for the stitches across the arm. We are going to make sure that we do the same amount. Well, not the same amount. This is the armhole. We have a big section of armhole. What we're going to do is close this off a little bit down here under our armpit. So this is the armpit area. We're going to take a section under the armpit and we are going to decrease in this bottom section. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows before we get to the spot where we did the chaining. So there's 6 rows on this side, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows here. Was it the 6 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here, I'm going to put a pin here too. And we're going to do exactly the same on both sides because obviously we want equal sleeves. What I'm going to do so that I'm not like totally counting is I'm going to decrease every stitch in this section for this first row. And it's going to just bring the material, instead of the material coming out like this, like a sleeve, it's going to create the under armpit area of our garment. So it's going to bring it flat there. And I have used this yarn for a, I've used this yarn for a, what is the word? What is the word, guys? A review. I reviewed this cotton sprout. So this ball has been used. I probably should have fixed it before I got on camera. So if you need to untangle your yarn, untangle your yarn. You need to find the center. There's the center. There's the center. I found it. All right. Now we throw the outside over there because we're going to center pull this ball. As you can tell, I did a sample. I did a little sample with that. All right. Where's my hook? So however many rows you have here, write that down so you don't forget. So when you go to the next sleeve on the other side of the shirt, you need to remember that. And depending on what you want your sleeve to look like or how big your bat wings are on your arms, how big your arms are, that's going to depend on how many rows and how many stitches. I just attached the yarn with a slip stitch and chained one. That's going to determine how much you decrease this. For me, I don't mind if I have a little bra showing on the side here. That doesn't bother me because my arms are big enough that, like, unless I'm lifting my arms, like, it's not a big deal. But if you want a lot more coverage here, you're going to have to do more rows than I'm doing of decrease. And we're going to decrease just this bottom part. But we are going to work in the round here. So we're going to decrease, and then we're going to just work straight double crochets. And then we're going to decrease, and then we're going to work straight double crochets. Okay? So what we're going to do is double crochets because most of the shirt is double crochets. So I'm going to do a double crochet here to start this row. And then all the way across, I'm going to do 2 double crochets together. All the way across. Like that. And I'm going to bring you in closer so I can see what I'm doing on the camera. And you guys can see what I'm doing. So for these rows here, where the double crochets are going across, that counts as 2 stitches for each row. So each one of these rows should have 2 double crochets chained together here, 2 double crochets chained together here. But see, I put the double crochet in this row. So actually my double crochet is going to be the bottom of this stitch and the top of this stitch, but that's okay. That's okay. So this is a 2 double crochet together. You're going to yarn over like you're making a double crochet. You're going to stitch, pull up a loop, and pull off 2. You should have 2 loops there. You're going to yarn over and go into the next. Pull up a loop and pull off 2. So for these 6 rows, you should have 6 2 double crochets together. And I need to adjust the light in my camera just a little bit because it's a little blown out. There we go. There we go. All right, so 2 double crochets together. And of course, if you choose to go up a little higher, if you do 7 rows or 8 rows, you will have 1 double crochet together for each one of those rows. And obviously that's going to be a little different down here. We'll talk about that when we get there. And this right here, this part is not a perfect science. You are doing this so that it fits your body. And if the stitches under your arms are not perfect, it's not a big deal. Okay, so don't overthink this part. All right, so now we have this last row of double crochets here, which we put the 2 double crochets together in there. Now we're moving across the part. This is the part that we chained under our arm. Okay, so each one of these is a chain. And instead of fighting to go in those chains, what we're going to do is, this is our first row. We're going to we're going to do our double crochet together here in the corner. We'll get our decrease in there. But we're going to go in between the stitches here so that we're not fighting to go in these tight chains, just to make our lives easier. And it also gives a little extra strength under your arm so that, like, you know, if you're going into that chain instead of around the whole chain, you're getting one thread you're wrapping around as opposed to the full part of the chain, which is actually 3 threads. And center pull some more of my yarn. So we're just going to continue doing 2 double crochets. And remember, you're going to have to watch this part twice so that you remember what to do for your next sleeve as well. This is super easy, and it's super adjustable. If you want it to be more close to your body and close in more, just do more decreases. If you want more ease under your arms and more openness where the sleeve comes out towards you, don't decrease. But in this part, because of the way we did this, we have to decrease right here. We have to. Otherwise, you're going to have a giant sleeve. And I don't think anybody's arm is this big. So we're just 2 double crocheting together all the way across. See? That's what it should look like. It should lay flat, and we're pulling the garment together this way. Okay? You just want to, whatever you do on this side, you want to write it down so that you get the right numbers on the other side as well. If you're off 1 stitch, 2 stitches, it's not going to make a huge difference because we're not making long sleeves. We're making cap sleeves. Oh man, there's a knot. There's a knot. It's because this yarn has been tossed around several places since I've had it. And if you're working with the cotton sprout now, which is what we switched to, you will notice the cotton sprout is it's basically the hipster yarn. It feels the same. It works the same. That's why I like putting these 2 together. And I like having like an alternate color around the sleeves and the bottom, because to me that gives it a little bit of, you know, it's a little fun extra pop of color. So where the blue does go with this blue, but it's not quite the same blue. I just like that. All right, now we're going up along the front panel or your back panel, whatever, where we have the double crochets going this way. And so same thing is we're going to put 2 double crochets together. As a matter of fact, I don't think I had that in the right spot for this row. I did not. 2 double crochets together going around the corner, and then we have our row of double crochets here, so we need 2 double crochets together there. In the next row, 2 double crochets together there, and the next row until we reach that stitch marker. Been working my little tushy off for the past 3 days trying to get this shirt done so I can finish the tutorial. Alright, now here's the last section because we got the stitch marker there. I'm going to put our last 2 double crochets together. This is what that bottom part of our sleeve, this is under our armpit. Okay, now we're going up, and this will be the top of our arm part of the sleeve. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to do double crochets all the way around. So now we're going to put 2 double crochets in every double crochet stitch going around. And the good thing about this color changing yarn is like you can definitely tell like this is a double crochet row because it's green. We have one here and it's blue, and this one's blue and this one's purple. So it's easier for us to determine where the double crochets are, where we need them to be. And some rows might look a little funky because if you did the chain 1 and turned, you're going to have like an extra thick stitch there, and that is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. And then at one point, we're going to get, this is the original yoke of the sweater that we formed that was the square. So now we're in the tops of the double crochet, so this is a lot easier to determine where our stitches need to go. And I'm going to let you guys determine how big you want your sleeves to be, how long you want your sleeves to be, how much you want to decrease under your arms. I want you to feel this out and figure out how many rows of the decrease you need. Just make sure that your arm fits very nicely and you have room to move. So do a couple rows with the decrease and slide the shirt on and make sure your arm fits through the hole. And you can always adjust. You can take back and take back a row if it's too tight around your armpit, or you can do another row of decrease if it's too loose under your armpit. Just, you guys got this. This is not super hard. You guys can figure this out. Of course, I'm going to walk you through what I'm doing for my sleeve. But keep in mind, we all have different shape arms. Even if if every one of us watching this video was a size 4X like I am, we are all going to have different shapes and sizes of arms. Some people might have really muscular arms, like they could be a 4X, but like they're bodybuilders, so they have like hard muscles there. Some have really droopy bat wings like I do. You know, you're going to have to fit this to your own armpits, is what I'm saying, and your wings or your muscles or whatever. Sometimes I use these terminologies for my body. I know some of you think I'm crazy because it is not the norm to speak so freely about body parts that maybe are not socially acceptable, but I feel like that's what's missing in some tutorials is the normalcy of our bodies. The talking about what makes our bodies different and unique and being okay with that, because nobody is exactly the same shape and size as I am in the entire world. We all have little things that make our bodies unique, and I try to teach you guys to be able to adjust the pattern for your unique body so that there's not frustration. Because when you're overweight anyway, or you have like weird shaped body, or like maybe your body is not proportioned evenly, we already have a hard time finding clothes and especially finding patterns that meet our needs. So I try very hard to keep that in mind so that you don't make a garment and you still can't fit into it, because that is a horrible feeling and I don't want anybody to feel that. That's why I encourage you guys, I always encourage, like, make this your own garment. Change it up however you need to. There's no apologies to me ever. Like, I want you to play with the patterns. I want you to adjust it so that it makes you happy on your body. And sometimes, like my first t-shirt, I wasn't happy with the way it fit me, so I made some adjustments to this one so that this one fits me just a little bit more to where I'm comfortable. So, and this is all a learning process. Sometimes you have to play with it and make sure it's going to fit you and your uniqueness. There's no shame in that whatsoever. All right, so we did the whole top. This is the flat part where we first started off the yoke, the square part. Now we're going back down to when we started crocheting back and forth. This is where we started. So once again, we're going to put 2 double crochets in each one of these double crochet rows. See, this is one of those chain one and turn rows. So you just find where you can stick the hook in, anywhere along that side. Just make sure you have 2 double crochets in that row. All right, now we're back to where we started. You can absolutely slip stitch to join here and chain up and do the next row. Or if you're afraid that the line here is going to show, you can put a double crochet right here on the side of this stitch and go up and work in the round. But I think I'm going to slip stitch to join. And then now, no, I did that wrong. Slip stitch to join. All right, now I'm going to chain 1. And we're going to take a good look at these stitches. So we have 2 double crochets together here. Let me pull you in close. 2 double crochets together here. See, there's the loop on the top right there. 2 double crochets together here, and there's this one singular loop right here on the top. We're going to once again do 2 double crochets together for this row. So we're going to start with this first one and do 2 double crochets together over these stitches, the next 2 stitches like that. Okay, and then we're going to just do that across right to that other stitch marker. So see if you pull it apart a little bit. This is the top, the loops right here. We're going to go half of a double crochet in this one and half of a double crochet in this one, and then complete them so that they both come together. See? Easy peasy. I'm going to do that around this bottom row. Try not to crochet too tight here because you don't want puckering. I'll try to open this up a little bit so you can see what we're doing. So here's our sleeve. See how this part's laying flat? And this part will eventually come out this way. I hope you guys are enjoying this tutorial. I was nervous about this one, I gotta tell you. I really love the colors on these shirts though. And I love that there's so many options for you guys to change it up between the Hipster Cotton and the Cotton Sprout. All right, now last, see, I messed up on the other side is I only put 1, so I'm going to do one more, 2 double crochets together because there is a missing stitch there, which is fine. And I'm just going to move my stitch marker to here because I messed up, and that's fine. You don't have to do that unless you messed up. And then we're going to continue up and around the top part of that sleeve, which is double crochets again. We're going to do one more row. See, I got a little bit of puckering down here, and that's okay. We're going to do another row of decreases, but the next row we're not going to decrease every stitch. We're going to change it up. So I will do double crochets around the top, and then I will meet you here and show you what to do. Okay, so I am approaching my stitch marker. I made it all the way over the top of my arm, my shoulder area. Just doing double crochets. And then when we get to our stitch marker, at this point of the sleeve, I want you to try it on. I want you to put it on your body. And then let me get to the stitch marker first. Check your arm on how it feels in that hole. Okay. So we've decreased. We've decreased a lot. I'm slip stitching to the first stitch in the row. You can just move your stitch marker up. Okay, slip it on. See how your arm fits in here. If you are comfortable with how big the hole is, how much under your arm your side boob is covered, if you're happy the way your arm moves freely, you can do another row of just straight double crochets. You can do another 2 rows of just straight double crochets, however long you want your sleeves to be. And this is why I'm going to leave it up to you, because some people don't mind their entire arm showing. Some people might want more of a cap sleeve if they're uncomfortable with their arms. I like a shorter sleeve because I get really hot. So if at this point this fits my arm, cool, we can move on. We can, for me personally, I would add another 2 rows and be done. If this does not fit my arm and it feels too small or too big still, I'm going to do another row of decreases, but this next row will be double crochet, 2 double crochets together. Okay, so we'll put 2 double crochets over the next 2 stitches, and then we'll do a decrease. And then 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and then we'll do a decrease. Okay, and you'll do that across this point. So I'm going to pause and try this on and see how my armpit fits. All right, so for me, I like the decreases. I'm not going to add any more decreases. I'm just going to crochet. I think I'm going to do 2 or 3 more rows and just in straight double crochet in the round. That will give me a nice pop of blue. The green shirt I did, this is the green shirt, so this is a totally different shirt. I did 1 row of the decreases, and then I did, because this one, I did this one totally different. So this is going to give you an idea of what I did differently with this shirt that you can do differently with your sleeve. I did a row in the first row of decreases, and then it looks like I did half double crochets, and then I did 2 more rows of double crochet, and I did a little bit of just shaping to where every once in a while I would put a decrease. So that's another option. But you guys have seen the green shirt on me, so you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of green, and then I did 2 rows of white as a little border, so you could do it that way too. But I think I'm going to do 2 or 3 more rows of the blue and double crochet, and then I will move to the other sleeve and do as many rows as you feel you need. Whatever is left over of the alternating color that you have, the cotton sprout, whatever you have left over from your sleeve, go ahead and attach to the bottom of your garment. I probably should have showed you that. Attach to the bottom of your garment to add a little extra length and color to the bottom. This is how much I had left for mine. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had enough for like almost 8 rows, I think, of the green at the bottom. So I will probably do 8 rows of the blue if I have that much yarn left. And then you can always do a ribbed bottom on the bottom of your shirt. I will, of course, come back after I finish my sleeves, and I will show you where we're at, and I will show you what to do on the bottom, but I just wanted to show you, like, that's where we're at right now. We are going to just, for me, I like this size sleeve. I like this opening. On my body, without showing you right now, there is about this much of my bra shows, but because I'm going to do a couple rows of double crochet, it will lessen how much of my bra shows along my armpit right here. And like I said, this is totally, make this your own. Do it what you feel comfortable with. Make the sleeves what you feel comfortable with wearing. I just wanted to show you how to do some decreases along the bottom And then I'm just going to work in the round with double crochet. I'm going to work the secondary sleeve as well. And then I will meet you back here and we will attach this to the bottom, this yarn to the bottom of our garment. And I'll show you how to finish this shirt off. I feel so relieved that we've gotten to the sleeves now, guys. We're in the home stretch. Just keep on going. You got this. You're going to have a beautiful shirt when we're done. All right, guys, we're back. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I feel like we're in the home stretch. Let me lay my garment out as best I can so I can show you what we got so far. This is the top. And I'm going to give you so many options so that we can make our shirts to suit our needs. All right, now pull you up. This is what see how high I can go on my camera. These are my sleeves. This is what the top of my shirt looks like. So far, I did 2 rows of decreases that I showed you guys. I did 3 additional rows of double crochet, and then I did a border of half double crochet on the sleeves. I cut my yarn, and now we are going to go to the bottom of our shirt. I am going to give you options for this shirt because with my original design, I did the band of green at the bottom. And then I did a white border. This is actually the chameleon yarn that I said I don't want to work with anymore because it smells bad. You can do this with any yarn. You can do this with just regular kitchen cotton if you want. That's what I had set aside to do this with, was the Just Cotton from Premier. I'm going to show you how to do this, but I am not putting this banding on my shirt because I'm going to do a band of blue. I'm going to do that until my blue runs out. I have about that much left. Oh, and at this point, before I go any further, to the bottom, if you want to decrease your neck line at this point right now, before you move to the bottom, now would be the time to put some in. I am leaving my neckline as is in this shirt. This one, however, I decreased a couple of rows. And if you're going to do a neckline in the alternate color that you picked, I would attach it towards the back of your garment. And when you hit these corners here where we created our increases, because now we're bringing the garment in this way, I want you to put a decrease at the corners here, and it'll give you more of a rounded effect here. So you can definitely put some of the alternate. I'm having a hard time thinking what this is. This extra color that we picked. You can do that. I am not, because I like the purple around my neckline. But do that before you attach this to the bottom to make sure you have plenty of yarn to do what you need to do. And if you're going to add the extra ribbed bottom at the bottom with a different yarn, or you can even rib it. You can do ribbed bottom with this color. I'm going to show you how to do all of that. For me, what I am doing with this, I am not going to work in the round at this point. I am not going to do like I did with the first shirt and put the ribbing on the bottom. What I am going to do is I'm going to create a panel on the front and a panel on the back so that I have a side slit, so that gives me a little more ease around my hip area, so that the shirt's not like tight around my hips or rising up around my hips. So if you have wider hips, this is a good idea, is to put a slit along the side. You don't have to do that. You can just work it in the round, or you can work in the round and do the ribbing. I'm going to show you how to do all of that as best I can at this moment. Focus. All right, so where I left off right here, you would think the children were bad, but no, I gotta shush the adult. If this had gone 2 more stitches, this would have been perfect, and I could have just attached up here and made the panel. But because it did not, I tied it off so that it did not unravel. Because it didn't make it all the way to the end, what I am going to do is I'm going to pull out that last double crochet that I made. If yours is all the way at the end, I mean, if you're doing a panel and yours is at the end, you don't have to do this part. But what I am going to do, and the way that I'm going to create actually, I'm going to show you how to do it in the round first. Let's show you how to do it in the round first. Okay, if we're going to work this in the round and we want to attach that last color, we don't want to work in the round anymore. We want to have a row where we stop and chain up. And so because we're doing that, we need to bring these stitches down so that we can work from here outward and it not be uneven, because we're going to need a stop and a start point, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do, because we're not going to be working in the round anymore, we're going to be working to the edge of this row, and we're going to stop and we're going to chain to connect, and then we're going to go around, and we're going to have like a fault line now. Because if we don't do that when we get to the end of the shirt, then we have to just do this process that I'm getting ready to show you anyway. So I'm going to put a half double crochet here, and then I'm going to put a single crochet, and then I am going to put a slip stitch and connect my yarn here. Okay, and then tie it off. That way we have more of a smooth line here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to find my blue to attach it. And so that we have a definite line of this is our next row. I'm going to create a slip knot. And I am going to attach it at the single crochet stitch. Pull you in so you can see. I know that the light is a little bit darker in here right now because it is now nighttime. Try to bring my light up a little bit. I'm going to attach the new color for the bottom on the single crochet, which is right there. I'm going to attach it with a single crochet. Now, this is going to be the start of the next row. So we are going to chain one, and we are going to put a double crochet in the slip stitch. So see, now this is the beginning of our row, and there's going to be a little sag here when we make it all the way around, but that is going to even itself out when you make another row and another row, and you're not going to see it. So this is the way we're doing it if we're working in the round, and then we're just going to double crochet all the way around. Okay, and I think I'm going to do a row of double crochet in the round, and then I will show you how to split this if you're going to split your waist or split your hips area so that you have the front panel and the back panel. And I will show you also the alternative if you want to put ribbing on the bottom of this so that you guys have options to make this shirt your own. Like we've said several times, I want you guys to have options. I want you to love your shirt. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to go round and around. Tell you what, guys, because we're getting short on time, I'm going to pause here and I will meet you when I get around to this end. Alright, I am almost to the beginning of the row. Got a couple more double crochets to go. And this is where I'm going to show you the options for the bottom of this shirt. You can do as many rows in this final color that you want to do to get the length of the shirt that you want. You can add on a white or a black trim if you want. It's up to you. So I'm going to slip stitch because now we're not working in the round anymore. And I'm going to show you, see? There is just a slight little bump here, but otherwise we've smoothed that completely out, and you cannot tell that there was anything unusual right there. Okay, now, option number 1, you can chain 1 and then double crochet all the way around and do like we just did this row as many times as you want. Or you could do the next row a half double crochet row or a single crochet row. You could put a border of picots on it if you want, or a shell border on the bottom. You can do any of those things. Or if you want to add a rib bottom, I will show you how to do that. You will chain 1. You will front post crochet here, front post double crochet here, back post double crochet here. Let me pull you in closer so you can really see. Front post double crochet, back post double crochet, and this will give you a rib effect. Okay, you can do that all the way around, and then when you come back to this side, you slip stitch here, you chain 1, and you can do another row exactly the same. You front post the front posts, you back post the back post, front post, back post. You can do that as many rows as you want to create a ribbing. I'm not doing that. Or another option is to do a split on the sides. So you would cut here. You're going to fold your shirt in half. Lay it flat so that that's the back side of the shirt. Lay it flat so that your sleeves are where they're supposed to be. And then you follow the seam of the side of your shirt all the way down to the bottom, and you put a stitch marker here and here. Okay? And we're pretty much at the edge there now. I don't know how I did that. And then you just double crochet to the end, stop, turn, come back, double crochet, do like 2 or 3 rows in the front, and then do the same on the back, attach the yarn here, and then just do a panel here, a couple rows of double crochet back and forth, and then you will have a front and a back panel, but you'll have like split slits on the side, and that will give you a little more room for movement. And that is all that you need to know to finish your shirts. I am very happy that I am almost done. I will show you in the final cut of this video what this shirt looks like on my body. I am very excited. It fits me better than the first one I made. I'm really pleased with the colors. I picked the name already, so I'm very excited about that as well. And this is all the things that I'm planning while I'm filming this tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial. Thank you for tuning in for our very first tutorial for Premiere Week. If you make this beautiful shirt, please show me. Try it on your body. Take a picture of yourself. Lay it out flat. I don't care. I don't need to see pictures of you if you're uncomfortable with that, but take pictures of your finished objects. Tag me everywhere and anywhere at Cinnamon Stitches. The little @ sign, Cinnamon Stitches. You can tag me on Instagram. You can tag me on Facebook. You can go to the Facebook group and post it in the Facebook group. That would be awesome. If you have a channel or any sort of podcast and you make this, please show me in your video. I want to see, and hashtag me or @ Cinnamon Stitches Crochet, because I want to see you guys. I want to see what you did. I want to see how you created this. I want to see what you did to change it up to make it yours. I just want to see what you guys did. I am just so happy to share this with you. And yeah, I wasn't going to make this shirt, and I'm really glad that I did, and I'm really glad that I shared it with you. So until tomorrow, bye guys.